we please hear from my friend, our 44th president, Barack Obama? So you all may know, it was 17 years ago. It was over 17 years ago when I took a trip to Springfield, Illinois. It was a cold February day. And I went there to support this brilliant young senator who was running for president of the United States. So we have a lot of work ahead of us, but we like hard work. Hard work is good.
That's right, guys. Hard work is, in fact, good work, isn't it? Welcome back, guys. Early voting details is already blowing up Kamala Harris's campaign, and it's really looking good at this point for Donald Trump. Comment down below who you think is going to win this debate, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. By the way, if you haven't already, definitely take a second, hit the like button. I appreciate you guys. We have a lot to talk about, including 31 reasons why many believe Donald Trump will win this 2024 election. And guys, early voters are already showing up in droves. In fact, we're seeing historic voter turnout for Donald Trump. Guys, let me know in the comments if you think that this is very good news to hear. We have a lot to cover in today's video, but first, I want to hear really quick from a particular pundit who has been following this very, very closely. And he is actually, we're talking about Doug Halpern, okay? And what he is about to drop on us right now is the kind of news that I cannot wait to share. So without further ado, let's take a quick listen and let's see what he has to say. Let's see. Am I sharing my screen with you guys? Let me see. Stop sharing. And then let me share this over again because I don't think you guys can see this. Y'all need to see this. All right, here we go. Share screen. Boom. And this one. Let me know if y'all can hear this.
Well, make sure you put the if in all caps, because this was not like total theoretical, hypothetical. But the point is, the Republicans are off to a surprisingly good start in the view of Democrats, independent analysts, and Republicans in how they're competing in the early vote, mail-in and in-person, drop box, all that kind of voting. The likelihood is, Democrats argue, that things will even out. That their lead will not be as big in the early vote as it was in 2020, but it would be big enough to withstand what everyone expects will be a superior performance on election day by the Republicans. This is not the way it's been since time immemorial, but for the last few cycles, Republicans have swarmed to the polls on election day. And the question is, do they have big enough advantage on election day to offset the early vote? This year, because Republicans so far are doing better on early vote, some people believe that if the trajectory continues, this would lead to an election day where the Democrats couldn't catch up.
Wow.
I'm saying on this trajectory, it's not a prediction. It's not rooting for Trump. And I don't think it's particularly controversial. The big question, as we discuss in the morning meeting all the time, is who's voting early? Is it Republicans who otherwise wouldn't vote? Or is it Republicans who are moving their vote from election day to the early vote? Either way, Democrats are hoping to do better and need to do better.
But Mark, even if it is Republicans moving their vote from election day to the early vote, that's a good thing for Republicans, is it not? Because it's a vote in the bank. It's not
now, really quick, guys. Obviously this is the Megyn Kelly show. We've got Mark Halpern on here dropping some big nuggets on us here, guys. But the key here that I really want to focus on is the voter turnout, specifically early voter turnout. We have not seen this level of early voter turnout like almost ever. I mean, like we're literally encountering like a historic turnout for early voters, at least from the Republican perspective. Now, we've seen Democrats come out in droves, especially during 2020. And a lot of people will argue that that was mainly because of the social distancing and the pandemic that was taking place. But it was primarily the Democrats that came out and that literally did the early voting and kind of overwhelmed the Republican support in terms of early voting back in 2020. But 2024 is something totally different. So a lot of people are saying, well, how is 2024 turning things around so positively for Donald Trump? And we're looking at the polls. We're seeing data from the swing states, particularly Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a massive state that really, at one point, they were saying Donald Trump doesn't have to win that in order to win the election. But I say we not rest on our laurels. We can't rest on our laurels and just assume that Donald Trump's going to take it. He needs to take it. He needs to get Pennsylvania. We don't want to be in a situation where we're like, letting Kamala Harris take Pennsylvania. Did you guys see my previous video? ABC preemptively reporting that Kamala Harris won Pennsylvania. Did you guys see that? It was like, I think it was something like 51% Kamala, 49% Donald Trump. And it later came out that, number one, Pennsylvania can't even legally open up or even do ballot counts until I think it's like 7 p.m. They can't even start counting the ballots until like 7 p.m. on election day, which this year, election day is actually November 5th. And there were some legal arguments about whether or not election day should be November 6th, 7th, or 8th. It is November 5th. And why is this important? Well, it's important because it's my birthday. So why would you move it to some other day? No, election day for 2024 is on my birthday. So I don't know how active I'm going to be on here tomorrow with you guys, but I'm going to do my best because obviously I got to spend some time with my family. And you guys have already been like blowing me up with the happy birthday wishes, and I appreciate you guys. Obviously, I'm not going to abandon you guys and not be on here at all tomorrow, but so I'll be away for a little bit. But getting back to it, I just want to thank you all so much for all you guys have been buying me coffees and doing the super chats, and I just can't thank you enough. And it is hard getting on here and keeping you guys up to date, but I love doing it. So it's hard, but it's like, not to steal a line from Kamala Harris's book, but hard work is good work, right? So I just love what I do. So it makes it easier to do when it's fun for you. So anyway, I appreciate that, guys. But we got a lot to cover today, guys. We have a lot to cover today. Donald Trump's name recognition is so freaking powerful. It's ridiculous. Oh man, thank you so much, guys, for the happy birthdays in the comments. What's up, Catalia? Appreciate you, girly. Always helping me out up in here. You are amazing. Trump is leading in every single swing state, and that's a very good point that you pull up, that you point out here, Catalia. Appreciate you. And we got, guys, get out here. I want you guys paying very close attention to what they're doing with the mail-in ballots. Pay very close attention to any kind of weird, suspicious activity that you might see. Any if you happen to see any weird activity with mail folks messing around with the mail, we definitely do not want that at all. Okay, so I guess what I'm saying is we have to be vigilant. That's the bottom line. We got to be vigilant, guys. We got to make sure that that Donald Trump's votes get counted. Now, I personally, me and my wife, we already did our early voting. We did that like a couple of weeks ago. I think I told you guys when I did it. But more importantly, I want to hear from you guys. How many of you guys here on the live right now have already done your early voting? Because I think early voting is now over. And so now all we can do is rely on the votes that come in. All we can do now is rely on the votes that come in over the next couple days. Over the next 24 hours. I should say the next, about 24 hours from now. So who is already voted? Let me see, show of hands in the comments. How many of you guys have already done your early voting? And also, please, if you say you're early voted, please also comment what state you're in. because I want to see how many of you guys are in swing states. How many swing state folks do we have in here today? Let me know, guys. How many swing state voters do we have in here today? But yeah, we need some significant turnout. Okay, we need significant turnout to win this thing. And Donald Trump says too big to rig. So we definitely have to make sure that it is too big to rig. And by doing that, this is making sure that everyone, no matter if you think Donald Trump's got this in the bag, trust me, ain't nobody got it in the bag until the votes are completely counted. And then we look at the electoral votes and we validate that we have enough to win. So don't let your mom say, oh, my leg hurts, my back hurts, my shoulder, my ankle, my cankle. Don't let anybody sit on the sidelines and pass up on this historic opportunity to put the man back in the White House and turn this country around, to get the border situation back under control, to get inflation down for not just the middle class, the lower class, the upper class, like for America, for us to regain our country. So there are several reasons why Donald Trump should win this 2024 presidential election. And I'm going to share with you guys my thoughts on this and some curated information that I've collected with you guys. But in addition to that, appreciate the happy birthdays. You guys are amazing. But in addition to all of that, I want to hear from you guys. What's your number one reason why you think Donald Trump's going to win this election? I definitely do want to hear from you. Number one, Donald Trump's got some significant name recognition. I mean, think about it, guys. Donald Trump is widely recognized. This gives him a very distinct advantage. This gives him a very distinct advantage in captivating and capturing media attention and public interest. Donald Trump's got buildings all over the freaking world. Like, think about that. I mean, just the fact that he owns real estate in all parts of the freaking world and arguably some of the most popular places, New York, Las Vegas, Nevada, Florida. I mean, like all over the place. So was he? I think he's got a building over in Atlantic City, but he's got real estate all over the place. And think about the loyalty base that Donald Trump has. I mean, Trump has a deeply loyal supporter base that remains highly engaged, ready to vote and influence others. I'll tell you what, I live in a neighborhood where, there's an HOA. How many of you guys live in HOA neighborhoods? Well, I happen to live in a HOA neighborhood. You know how they tell you, oh, you can't paint your house this color. You can't make any changes to your house without getting prior approval from them. Basically, you kind of own your house, but you kind of don't, because they tell you what you can and can't do with your house. Anyway, can't park your cars on the street, get a fine if your grass gets too tall, that kind of thing, right? Well, there was a letter, there was an email that went out to all of us, homeowners in the neighborhood, and they basically told us we can't put signs out. Well, guess what? People are putting signs out, and people are they're showing their love for Trump. So basically people are saying, hey, I don't care how much your fines are. We're going to support Trump no matter what. There's Trump banners. There's Trump signs in the yards. People are showing the love. So the loyalty base is ridiculous for Donald Trump. And so that's another reason why Donald Trump is expected to win this thing. And let's not forget about the fundraising effort, right? So Trump he's literally been proven to be a very, very powerful fundraiser from his supporters. This fuels a lot of his campaign resources. He doesn't need to raise all this Cardi B money. Look at Kamala Harris and her campaign. Basically, they stole the campaign funds that Joe Biden raised, and they're funneling. This is that great wealth transfer that we talked about. They're funneling all of this, or a lot of the campaign money that was raised by Joe Biden when they installed Kamala Harris into position to run for for the position of president of America, president of the United States. They have literally just reallocated Joe Biden's funds over to her for her disposal. And so now they're spending all this money that they can, paying Beyonce, paying I don't know if they paid Taylor Swift. Do y'all know if they paid Taylor Swift? Who? My bad, not Donald Trump. Kamala Harris paid off Beyonce. I don't know if Taylor Swift got paid. Okay, but you got Cardi B. She ain't show up there without getting a big check. Who else you had? Who was that one? Meg Thee Stallion started it. She started it off in Georgia, getting that big check out of Atlanta. Quavo, but still, that's the thing. The list of celebrities goes on and on. It's a deep list of celebrities getting these big checks, and it's so funny because Kamala Harris is always pushing how she's all for the middle class, but the middle class is who's complaining about the state of the economy. Meanwhile, they have the ability to pay these celebrities millions of dollars for just a few hours of showing up. I mean, they did the old bait and switch on Kamala Harris supporters, saying that Beyonce is going to perform. She ain't performed. She showed up, said a few words, bounced, deuces. Then you had Cardi B up here the other day, made a fool out of herself. Did you guys catch that? Cardi B basically, man, that was painful to watch. Cardi B apparently had a script that she was supposed to be reading, but she clearly couldn't read it because there was something wrong with the teleprompter. And then she started shouting, asking for patience. Now, at first, I was like, is she asking for patience from the audience, like bear with me kind of patience? Or was there somebody by the name of Patience? Because that was really confusing to me. I looked at, I was watching her, and clearly she didn't know what to say. So it made me feel like, number one, did you even write your own script, or did somebody else write it? Because I would think that even if the teleprompter didn't work, you'd have something to say. And then, Cardi B basically said something to the effect of, I've been waiting my whole life for this. Now, if you've been waiting your whole life for this event, I would think you'd have something to say. And also, I don't know how you could possibly wait your whole life for this when Kamala Harris wasn't even running for president for more than like 2 months. Because this is like a last minute coup / Hail Mary decision from the Biden camp to put her in place to run for president. So I don't buy that. I don't see how she could have possibly been waiting her whole life for this. But that was a tragic error on behalf of Kamala Harris's campaign management team. Doesn't make any sense to me how that happened. Media coverage, Trump's ability to generate headlines, positive, negative, it keeps him in the spotlight and maintaining visibility. Now, any real like diehard Trump supporter, I'm sure many of you guys might have even read his book, Art of the Deal. He's got some other books out there. Donald Trump is a very optimistic guy. I mean, he's a businessman. Trump's an entrepreneur. And the thing that kills me is Kamala Harris and the liberal media has a tendency to want to always try to demonize Donald Trump. Oh, Trump's a horrible guy. Trump is a felon. Trump is this, Trump is that. And it's like, wow, like you try to demonize the success of Trump in order to try to repel people from him. But if you think about it, that's like crap. That's taking a big old dump on the American dream. Who doesn't want to be successful? Donald Trump represents success, does he not? So it's like when the left, when Kamala Harris, when Tim Walz attacks Donald Trump's success, it's like, it's almost like you're demonizing success. Like, who doesn't want to be successful? Isn't that what the American dream is about? To be able to build something in this country, like to be able to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Like, is he not pursuing happiness? Is it wrong to pursue happiness? Is it wrong to start a business and hire people and give people jobs and be able to live the life that you would like to live? Like, is it wrong for him to want more out of life? I mean, like, it's ridiculous to me. Yeah. And so it's like, it's almost like they're hating on Trump. It's like, rather than talk about their own policies, they'd rather hate on Donald Trump and attack him as a person. Now, here's the thing. Trump's already got previous presidential experience. I mean, having already served as a president, Trump pretty much, he has the experience in office and the backing of those who want a return to his policies. How many of you guys want Trump back in office and you want to see Trump's policies put back in place? You want your border secure. You want to make sure that the gangs aren't taking over your cities, over your apartment complexes, and that your dogs and cats can roam the yard without fear of being eaten. I laugh, but I'm serious. I'm serious. Kat, appreciate you. Thanks so much for the happy birthday wishes. You guys are always amazing. The Trump train is unstoppable. Why is my background backwards? Man, I forgot to invert my camera. So you got this retarded looking American Dream thingy behind me. Let me see. Happy birthday. Oh, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. You guys are freaking awesome. Super duper supportive. Why do someone says we only have 566 likes? Why y'all playing like that? Why are you holding back on the likes? But yeah, the economic record, right? Now, some voters, they look at Donald Trump's economic policies as being successful, especially those who focus on job growth, stock market highs, deregulation during Donald Trump's term, right? And I think Donald Trump understands money. Trump understands the economy. And so it makes sense why Trump's economic policies were successful, especially those who are focused on job growth and stock market highs and, being able to retire at some point, ideally retiring early. And so, yeah, the deregulation allows for businesses to grow because the government basically gets out the way to let the businesses grow. So that's why, Trump supporters tend to like, and that's the funny thing. Even people who don't like Trump actually like his policies economically. And so the thing is that I see, what's up, John Lighton? The thing is that I see is a lot of people find themselves, and this, I don't think that this is our audience here, honestly. I think a lot of you guys are very sharp. What I see is a lot of people getting caught up in the feelings. I like Kamala Harris because she makes me feel good. I like Kamala because she grew up in the middle class and she thinks about the middle class. Oh, she does? So why is the middle class complaining about the economy now? Right? Why would the middle class complain about the economy when Kamala Harris is in the White House now? Like, she's in the White House every day, assuming she shows up for work. So with Biden and his alleged suffering of, from dementia or whatever the heck Biden's got going on. I don't know what's going on with Biden. A lot of people are saying Joe Biden was running the White House since Biden couldn't. A lot of people are saying, Kamala Harris. Heck, Joe Biden himself said Kamala Harris was in the room during major decisions that were being made. So you can't tell me Kamala Harris's policies haven't already been affecting us right now. A lot of people argue that Kamala Harris was the one running the country behind closed doors. So if she's thinking about the middle class, evidently, A, she's not, or B, thinking about the middle class isn't helping the middle class. So how will 4 more years and a promotion help the middle class, right? So yeah, now of course there's a lot of populist appeal, right? Trump's rhetoric appeals to the working class. It really does. And a lot of rural voters, anybody live in a rural town? I think a lot of rural voters who feel overlooked by the traditional politics are really, really strengthening Donald Trump's base. And he's got a like his America first approach, right? It's always America first. Bring the jobs back to America. Bring the jobs, bring the manufacturing back here to America, right? Look at Detroit. Detroit used to be the powerhouse of manufacturing. Big American automakers out of Detroit, GM, Ford. What's up with that? What's up with those companies? Layoffs, unions having to step in because the big companies want to send the jobs overseas. With Donald Trump's America First approach, I think it really resonates with not only early voters, but just voters in general that are concerned about immigration. They're concerned about international trade. Trump wants business here. He doesn't want our company. Trump doesn't want our country sold out to China, where, the last 12 out of the past 16 years, we've seen the Democratic Party run the country, and all we've seen is China buying up more and more of America. And it's wild when you think about it, because you're watching the country just being given away. You're watching the country being given away to foreign nationals. You're watching the country remove borders to a point where, what is the goal of removing the borders and not enforcing border policy? Is your goal to have one world government? What is the end game here? That's what I wonder. A lot of voters are frustrated with the political establishment, and Trump's outsider persona, it still appeals to the sentiment. You got Trump's very strong stance on crime and border security, right? Trump's got some very hardline positions on law enforcement and immigration. This also attracts voters to want to be able to want to prioritize security. So let me see. Kamala was created by the media. Nobody voted for her. The Democratic candidacy, so much for democracy. And it's funny how the Democrats have democracy built into their own party name, and they sold out democracy. Oh my God, the irony, guys, the freaking irony. Let's see. Kamala Harris is not fit to run the country at all. She did not grow up in the middle class. She grew up rich. Her dad and mom was a professor. That's a good point, Lee. That's a very good point, Lee. I don't have a problem with Kamala Harris growing up in the middle class. I don't have a problem with Kamala Harris being raised by a rich dad and mom who were, professors or whatnot. I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem when you lie about it. When you lie and you say, oh, I grew up in a rough part of town and you didn't, or you grew up poor, or you claim to have grown up poor and you didn't. Look, just stop faking the funk. Stop fronting. Keep it real. Tell the truth. Stop pretending to be black if you're not. If you're black, be black. That's what I have an issue with. You don't see Donald Trump running around pretending to have been growing up in the ghetto and now he done made it. Donald Trump didn't do that. So why is Kamala Harris out here acting like she grew up in hard times and grew up in the middle class, if she didn't. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Donald Trump, he has built a 10-figure net worth. To be a billionaire is pretty substantial. Kamala Harris says, well, this guy doesn't know anything. Donald Trump doesn't know anything. He's been bankrupt 6 times. Okay. Well, number one, I can't even begin to imagine what it would be like to have my parents leave me with millions of dollars as a kid. I don't know what that's like, but I'm willing to bet if anyone who just got their driver's license was given a Corvette as their first car, they're probably going to wreck it. They're probably going to crash. Why? Because that's not a beginner's car. That's a lot of horsepower. That's a lot of power. So if he, found himself in a situation where he made some decisions that weren't all that smart, maybe put himself in a situation where he had to file bankruptcy. I don't know the details of that. But if he made mistakes and then he learned from those mistakes, and now, in spite of those mistakes, is now a billionaire, wouldn't you want to learn from him? That's all I'm saying. It's like, got to think some of this stuff through. You also got to think about billion-dollar corporations. Look at the S&P 500. Look at the NASDAQ. Look at these billion-dollar corporations that have filed bankruptcy. Anybody fly on Delta Airlines? Has anyone flown on Delta Airlines? Delta Airlines has filed bankruptcy before. And in spite of that, they are now the #1 airline in America. They have a massive hub in Atlanta, in Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. So if Kamala Harris knew anything about business, she would understand that a strategic bankruptcy can allow a person and or corporation to strategically rebalance and restructure debt to get more favorable terms. Bankruptcy doesn't necessarily mean that you're losing. It could literally be a strategic play to move your company and or personal finances forward. But of course, she wouldn't know anything about that. She don't know anything about the economy. That's why the economy is jacked up now, Kamala. So you got the endorsement from conservative media outlets like Fox News. At least Donald Trump's got Fox News, because surely, CBS and ABC aren't pro Trump. CNN and, you already know how that debate went. ABC debate, you know how that went. Kamala Harris's CBS 60 Minutes debate /edit / y'all know how that went, right? Then you got the public concerns about inflation, rising inflation under the current administration. This has led some to look back favorably on Donald Trump's economic policies, right? When you see 8-9% inflation under the Biden-Harris administration, you're like, yo, get me out of here. I can't believe that every time I go to the grocery store, a week or two, prices have changed going upward in a week or two. So, even people who didn't necessarily like Trump, and that's the thing, it's not about liking anybody. You ain't hanging out with none of these people. We're not hanging out with Trump. We ain't hanging out with JD Vance. We ain't hanging out with Kamala Harris or Tim Walz. So their personality should not even be a factor. They ain't coming to the family barbecue. Ain't gonna happen. You can send them an invite, but it ain't gonna happen. You can go ahead and invite Kamala. You can invite Kamala Harris to your Thanksgiving gathering in a few weeks. But Karine Jean-Pierre, she's gonna be like, nah, she busy. So the personality to me is largely irrelevant. Now, obviously, you don't want some erratic person in there with the nuclear codes, waking up on the wrong side of the bed, hitting that button, blowing up the world. We don't need none of that either. But in terms of do you like them or not, it's not really about that. It's not about that. Then, of course, you got the rising frustration with the Biden administration, issues like the economic challenges, foreign policy concerns, domestic unrest. All of this is making people pissed off. Donald Trump says October 7th would have never happened if he was in office. He would have never let this happen. He would have kept Iran broke, they wouldn't have had a horrible Afghanistan, a horrible Afghan pullout like what we have experienced, which was an embarrassment to America. Trump says none of that would have happened. A lot of folks say, what's up, Ashley? Ashley, Adam in the comments. What's going on, y'all? You can count on the Democrats cheating. Appreciate you, Kevin. A lot of folks on the left are like, man, if Trump get in office, we're going to be in a war. We'll be in World War III. There were no wars started under the Trump administration, just to kind of put that out there. So for all the folks who are subscribing to the thought process that Trump in office would be detrimental for America in terms of wars starting, I would have to beg to differ on that one. So I gotta strongly beg to differ on that. I totally disagree. Look at the history. Just look at history. Did Trump start any wars? Name one war. Name one war that Trump started. Name one war. How many likes we got, guys? How many likes we got on the video? Yeah, so Trump's stance on personal freedoms, they're trying to, guys, look at what's happening. They're trying to take away your First Amendment rights. All of the suppression, the censorship. I've never heard the use of the word censorship and misinformation so frequently as I have over the last 4 years. It's unreal. So Trump's stance on personal freedoms, Second Amendment, what do they say? The reason that our forefathers put the Second Amendment behind the First Amendment is because if you lose your First Amendment, the Second Amendment backs it up. I'm gonna just put it to you like that. Let y'all's imaginations run wild on that one. So, really, think about the pandemic measures. Not gonna go too hard on that one, but let's just say not everybody was on board with the decisions that were made, right? A lot of people are pissed off right now. They're like, yo, why is Kamala Harris even running right now? Who voted for her? Who voted her to the position for running for president? Not one vote. Biden, the people voted for Biden. People voted for Biden. Then you got Trump's team. Basically, they're very sharp from a digital standpoint. They're very digitally savvy. Social media strategies on point. Y'all seeing Facebook ads for Trump? And Trump is also playing guerrilla warfare. Trump has shown up in y'all name some places where Trump has shown up and garnered significant media attention. Trump showed up in what? Chick-fil-A one day. Showed up in McDonald's. When to go to roll up, get your Happy Meal and your Big Mac, got Donald Trump handing it out the window. It's like, what? He showed up in the bodegas in the Bronx in New York, guys. People be like, nah, there ain't no love for Trump in New York. Tell that to the thousands of people that showed up for Trump when he was out there, right? So, and all of this garnered significant attention and new support. So many independent voters, swing state voters recognize this. Black voters, Hispanic voters, they were like, yo, Trump's getting a lot of love. Trump was getting a lot of love in New York in a blue state. Sarah, appreciate you. Let's not forget about the dump truck, because according to Joe Biden, Americans are garbage. Well, not all Americans are garbage, according to Joe Biden. According to Biden, just people who support Trump, those people are garbage. So in order to not be garbage, you'd have to support Kamala instead, based on that logic, right? So, yeah. So I'm just saying, man, like Trump be leveraging the social media and the strategies of his team are serious. Almost 200,000 people showed up at Madison Square Garden, Deborah. I didn't even know it was that many people. That's crazy. Appreciate that. Barbara says, I would rather be garbage and vote, and I'm a ad lib and vote for Trump than not be garbage and vote for Biden. How many of you guys agree with Barbara? You rather be garbage and vote for Trump? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But yeah, a second term agenda, guys. Trump has already outlined policies that he claims that he was unable to fully enact in his first term. Is really energizing the base right now. It's really energizing the base. And you know what's funny? Kamala Harris, she attacked Trump saying he's got concepts of a plan. Y'all remember when Trump actually said he's got concepts of a plan during the debate? I've got to give him credit for that, because yeah, he did say he's got concepts of a plan. And the reason why I actually support that is because Trump is a businessman. He's an entrepreneur. He recognizes that when you have a plan, that plan may or may not work out exactly as planned. When you're running a corporation, when you're running a company, when you're running the freaking country, the greatest country in the world, you cannot expect that everything goes exactly according to plan. So for him to keep it real and say we've got concepts of a plan, I think that's legitimate. I think it's legitimate. It's keeping it real. It's keeping the expectations of Americans like in check. It's not like, like, because here's the thing. I mean, you could say anything. You could literally provide detailed, like very high level details on your plan, and anything could happen. And then all of a sudden you now look like a liar. So let's just say the House and or the Senate doesn't support Trump's plan. He'd end up looking like a liar, right? Because unless the president executes executive orders, executive actions, there's some things that the president just cannot do on his or her own. And I think Trump was just keeping it real, but instead of respecting him for being honest and truthful, they attacked him. The left attacked him. He's got concepts of a plan. God, that irritating voice. I'm glad I don't have to wake up next to that woman in the morning. But yeah, and then you got the rural voter supporters. It's through the roof. Trump's policies resonate with rural America. Period. Point blank. Trump continuously retains strong support in these regions, and this is going to be very critical in the electoral swing states. So the Trump base is strong. Got endorsements from a lot of religious conservatives. There's a lot of conservative religious groups that endorse Donald Trump, looking at him as like a defender of their values. So yeah, this is just added to the bag, added to the bucket. It's another reason why Trump should win this 2024 presidential election. Now, real quick, how many of you guys are planning to vote tomorrow on November 5th on my birthday? I want to see how many of y'all plan on doing that. Telvin voted in North Carolina. All right. And what will we get if we voted for Harris? Nothing. There are so many important issues that are being ignored by her party. The border, obviously, but the economy is an absolute mess. Yeah, it's a mess. What's up, John? John in Chicago. Appreciate you, Patrick. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. My man Al is voting tomorrow in Alabama. Appreciate you, Al. Tina already got out there and voted in Georgia. Deborah already got out there last week and voted for Trump. Looks like Brian's got plans to vote for Trump and JD Vance tomorrow out there in the stupid blue state of Maryland. Oh my goodness. Grenada. Let me see what Grenada. I don't know where Grenada is. But we appreciate your vote in spirit anyway. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to hit y'all up. I wanted to jump on here and share my thoughts on why Donald Trump wins 2024's presidential election? Hit me up in the comments, guys. Let me know if I've missed anything. Let me know if you think I've missed anything, but I definitely want to hear from you guys. But Kamala Harris's campaign is facing a series of challenges right before Election Day, especially as early voting results have revealed unexpected Republican momentum in some key states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Nevada. Appreciated unbiased news. If Harris can claim she's black, 7% Jamaican, then I should be allowed to claim being a Jew, 3%. Appreciate the birthday wishes, all of you guys. But yeah, the unexpected Republican voter turnout from early voting results, it's powerful, especially in states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Nevada. Now, typically Democrats rely on a very strong showing from early voters, but these numbers that we're seeing now, they're causing some serious concerns within the Kamala Harris team, particularly the Kamala Harris campaign team. They're worried about the figures that are showing that Republicans have shown out in significant numbers, especially with figures like Joe Biden and Barack Obama coming out the woodwork, heavily investing in Kamala Harris's success. And recently, we actually had a response to these early voting trends. You got news outlets like MSNBC, CNN. They're all broadcasting commentary that paints Donald Trump and his supporters in a negative light, even describing them as deranged. How many of these? I mean, it seems like all of these folks have Trump derangement syndrome. Obama himself has stirred controversy for bringing up Trump's comments from the Charlottesville rally, reminding voters of Donald Trump's fine people remark, which Obama and other Democrats interpreted as supportive of white supremacist groups. I don't understand how you extract fine people with that. Unbelievable. Meanwhile, you got key Republican supporters like Elon Musk, who through his influence behind Donald Trump, he's coming under fire. It's like anybody who is supporting Donald Trump, it's like they're under attack. How are you going to attack a man who decides to give away $1 million a day to more than likely the middle class? It's unbelievable. But this is what they're doing to Elon Musk because he decides to support Trump, right? I don't get it. I don't get it. MSNBC commentators, they're openly calling Elon Musk's involvement scary. Why is it scary? Given the significant financial support that he and other major Trump donors bring to the election. What about the major donors that are donating to the Biden-Harris campaign? The major billionaire and multi-millionaire donors that were donating to Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. What about those guys? So it's okay. We're not going to talk about it when it's donations for Harris, but we are going to talk about it when there's donations that go to Trump. Go figure, right? So this level of involvement by Elon Musk, it signals a big shift in the typical election dynamics, with wealthy influencers showing vocal support for Trump's campaign. So anyway, but we got to keep a watchful eye out here, guys. Again, if you haven't already, take a second. If you appreciate the content, hit the like button. Definitely subscribe to the channel. And if you want to take it a step further, if you want to buy us a cup of coffee, there's a link in the description down below. Totally appreciate that, you guys. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. I hope we covered some of the main topics today, and let me know what you want me to cover in future videos. You should see a video coming up maybe in a couple seconds here. Click that video, check it out next, and I'll see you guys on the next one.